and welcome to the Luv MEESH Podcast. I am your host, Meesh, and it's 8 billion people in the world. It's just as many, if not more, podcasts to listen to. Yet, universe guided you right here to this one. Yes, you met me, and that is not by happenstance. This is a divine meeting. May we lovingly lead each other well. On this podcast, you'll hear topics about both spiritual and earthly. My goal is just to keep learning, evolving, and spreading love.
The body of Mica Miller was found in Lumber River State Park, an hour and a half from her home in Myrtle Beach. According to investigators, Mica took her own life on April 27th. Mica was loved and cherished by many. Today, I spoke with a man who saw Mica at the park and briefly spoke with her. She waved at him and smiled and said hi. He tells me that it was crowded by the river that day, and so she decided to take this trail where there was less people. Mica walked about a mile into the woods. Walking on this trail is a very somber and sad feeling. The man tells me that they used this boat to recover her body. He tells me that one of his buddies was fishing, and he heard a woman crying and then a pop sound. One might ask, why did Mica take her life? And upon further digging, her past shows a history of abuse from her husband. Day by day, more reports are released that show details of what he did to her.
Hey loves, and welcome to another podcast episode of the Luv MEESH Podcast. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So if you have been anywhere on the internet of things, especially TikTok, you have come across the case of Mica Miller. Now this struck a nerve for me because domestic violence is a true thing. My family actually has a history of it. And it's just something near and dear to my heart to love someone. And then on the other hand, someone knowing that you love them so much that they are abusing you. And there's so many different forms of abuse. So when the Mica case came up, I think it struck a chord because we're in this season of like women like not putting up with anything anymore. Like there was the whole Me Too, Bill Cosby's gone, R. Kelly's gone. There's the whole Epstein Island. There was another guy, I forgot his name. He started, the whole snowball effect. And we're learning that presidents, governors, mayors, police sheriffs, police, FBI, judges, lawyers, they're all kind of in cahoots with this whole sex trafficking ring. And I think you could be sex trafficked. You could be manipulated into being into a false relationship. The domestic violence happens to all of them. It's just, to me, just throw them all in a pot and mix them around, right? And that does not excuse the church. T.D. Jakes running around with P. Diddy and white parties. There's no telling what any other pastors are doing, right? A lot of people think that because you are a pastor, you are holier than thou, that you are without sin. I think they have the most skeletons in their closets. There is a show on Oprah Winfrey's network. It was called Greenleaf or something like that. Greenleaf. That church had so many skeletons, it was ridiculous. And that wasn't a TV show, y'all. They get those files, they get those reports, they get people's stories, and they turn them into storylines, okay? So those are somebody's true stories that they're able to get away with telling because it's fiction, because there's fictional people playing it. They change the name. Just like when you read a book. Y'all know I like to read. The names and characters and places in this book may be fictional to protect. I know it's real. You just CYA. We get it. So my heart goes out to Mica Miller and her entire family because my soul, y'all, I know things without knowing. I just know. She did not commit suicide. That man unalived her. So my mom and my sister love First 48, love all the crime store, my niece too, everything crime. They should be investigators around here solving cases and bringing people home. They're so good at it. But the other weekend we were looking at one of the crime shows, and this happens not with just crime shows. It's just a gift that I need to look into a little bit more. But when the show starts, I'll say, X, Y, Z, da, 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 and it'll happen. And my nephew was like, how did you know? I said, I don't know. I just be knowing things. I just be knowing. So I was saying, what was that particular show we were looking at? I can't remember that one. I think it was like, I was like, the boyfriend did it. I don't know. I can't remember. Since that show, I looked at another disturbing show. This girl in Jacksonville, Florida, who was in the military, killed her 5-year-old, called a police report to say that she was missing. No, ho, you kill her. And tried to drink laundry detergent to unalive herself. And she lived. No, you live, you go to trial, and you go to jail. Because I don't even understand that case. The girl apartment was messy. Like, who lives like that? I don't understand. You're in the military, honey. You make money. She worked 12-hour shifts. Who's watching this girl? She's not in daycare. And when they looked in the house, it was feces on the ground. Unless you have a cat or a dog, what 5-year-old is pooping on the ground? No, what my intuition is telling me is she was working them 12-hour shifts for whatever reason. She's not from Jacksonville, Florida. Her family was in Alabama. I don't care what you got. You drive, drop that baby off, and come back to work. That's what you have to do if you don't trust your daughter being around nobody. Or you work extra hours and put her in daycare. They have 24-hour daycares. No excuse. A mother should have more love, care, and concern. Like, I don't understand when mothers kill their children. I just don't get it. I feel like she would lock that girl in the closet until she got off of work. And since the girl couldn't go to the bathroom or anything, she's just in this dark closet peeing and pooping until her mom get home. And one of the neighborhood guys was like, I would see her in the window waving. And my heart goes out to the mom, because the mom, she tried to lie and say, Mama, I just picked her up from Halloween. She was with my mom. I don't know why my mom lied. The mom was like, I haven't seen her in 2 years. So something is up with the mom, because you got grandkids. Why are you not seeing your grandkids for over 2 years? You know what I mean? Especially if you think something is going up with your daughter. You should be volunteering. Send her up for the summer. I got her as much as you can. Give me that baby. Right? She had a boyfriend. I blame him. Like, so you dating her, coming to her house, all this stuff, and you ain't seen the daughter, you ain't met the daughter, you ain't seen her stuff in the car or anything. Like, I don't know, that was weird. And then the baby daddy, you don't want visitation rights for your child? When the last time you seen her? Like, she not going to school, she not going to daycare, you just don't know what's going on with your child. And then her job, if she was in school and she's not in school anymore, why didn't y'all look into that? You just gonna take her out of school and you work 12-hour shifts, make it make sense. So anyways, I forgot the other case because that one is more so on my mind. But getting back to Miss Mica, I don't think Miss Mica unalived herself. This man was a pastor, white man, number one. We know that white men can pull some strings. I'm sorry. White men can pull some strings. They know governors, they know lawyers, they know police sheriffs, they know presidents, whatever. A lot of white-collar crime, white-collar men crime. They just get away. Look at Epstein. Now, we don't put Bill Cosby away. We don't put R. Kelly away. We getting ready to put P. Diddy away. Epstein faked himself. That's what I feel. I'm sorry. I feel like when you have a lot of money, instead of going undercover, Secret Service identity, whatever they want to call it, I think you have to fake your death, literally get a whole face change, whole body change, whatever, and live your life under this whole new social, whole new name, whole new everything. Because you can't tell me this man knew that much information on everybody, the whole Hollywood, the whole governor, the whole president, the whole Senate, the whole everybody. That island had all the tea, y'all. So it's you're not, number one, you're not going to not secure that person. They're going to be filmed 24 hours. You're going to have a guard standing at the door. Like, come on. Just the whole thing was all so. He's not dead, but the trail went cold so that they could do what they need to do to get the information from him. Like, I watch enough CSI. We know enough about the government in 2024 to just believe little stuff like that. Like, no. They will fake your death, send you underground in these bunkers and Area 51 and everything else, and everybody will think you're dead. So what are you going to do? Like, you can't even ask for help at this point because the whole world had a funeral for you. So anyways, he's a high-class white pastor, and she filed for divorce, and it's just funny, not funny at all though, that she unalived herself after divorce. No, that's a triumph. That's when you have, I'm getting a divorce party. You know what I mean? That's when you're rolling with your girls and friends and your family. Like, the drama is over. Not everybody wants to celebrate, but the point being is she won. She filed first. That's, nigga, I'm leaving you. She filed. And men with all this ego, although he was having an affair on her, this was suspicious too. The girl that he had an affair on. Now, you still married, because we know that she just filed for divorce. You're having an affair, and mysteriously, the woman that you're having an affair with is married. Her husband is in a wheelchair and he drowned. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. There's no wheelchair person in the world that's finna get by no pool. Unless they have one of those special pools where the machine dips them down and they have extra care. They're probably terrified. Like, are you kidding? If you're in a wheelchair, that means your legs aren't moving properly. You need your legs to kick unless you're a really good floater. And if you can float, then how the hell did you drown? This man just got bodies on top of bodies. So I watch enough of first, I hate watching it, but when I do watch it with my family, they will literally plan your murder, sit in that chair and pretend like they didn't do anything while they scrambling for evidence and continue to question you until they get a good case to book you. But if they can't add up all the pieces, you get to go scot-free. Like another case, this guy, he was okay. The man was a truck driver, so he was always in and out. Him and his brother had a house together, and they let his high school friends stay with him. I don't know if he was having hard times or whatever, but eventually he told his mom, like, he got to go. He a grown man. You don't have bills to pay. He got to go. So we don't know what this man's situation was financially. Was he staying in his car? Was he staying in a hotel? Whatever. Well, all of a sudden, the family was having a group chat and they didn't hear from the two brothers. And she was like, Mom, something strange. You need to go over there because I ain't heard from them. The mama got a key to her son's house, went to her children's house, saw her baby son, I think she had 5, on the sofa asleep. So imagine you laying, stretched out on the sofa with the cover over you, looking at TV, boom. That means somebody got you from behind, because you not finna walk in front of me. I'm like, who are you? Why you coming to my house? Da, 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 da. If he didn't have a gun right there with him. So he had to sneak you from behind. And then it was weird because maybe the gun was on silence, because there's no way you could shoot in my house and get time to come to my room and shoot me. Oh, no. So I don't know how he ended up shooting the brother in the bed, which was multiple gunshots. And the mom was like, it was no forced entry, no glass was broke, no doors, so somebody had to, they thought it was all the baby mamas, because one of the baby mamas didn't show. It wasn't her. He was the only one that had the key to that garage. When they questioned this man, he was the only one that didn't even show up to the funeral. That's when the mom gave him a tip. Everybody else came to the funeral but him. Claimed that he took a job out of town and all this other stuff. And, the security, it did talk about he was asleep. Why the security camera at the hotel shows him coming back to the hotel after he done killed them, packed up all his stuff and left in a hurry. You dumb A. So see, sometimes if we don't have cameras and stuff like this, like crimes will go unsolved. And how hurtful is that for your loved ones to not know what happened to you? Or if you go missing, to not know if you're still alive. They're waiting on you to call to come home. It's like unresolved trauma. Like, that's going to bother you forever. But when I saw this case, it's giving his ego was upset that she filed for divorce. And he was like, all right, I got something for you, bet. You won't, if I can have you, nobody else will. Almost, vendetta. And I don't know why this case is bothering me so much. I just saw a video with her going to the pawn shop and getting a gun. Okay, so you mean to tell me that somebody can't say, go in this pawn shop and get a gun, because if you don't, I'm going to get your parents, I'm going to get your nieces and nephews, I'm going to get somebody. Like, everybody has something that'll make them move. So just because, the case was just closed so fast, just because I went to a pawn shop, that mean I unalive myself? Like, there needs to be a unit specifically for suicide, fake or fraud suicides. Some people really do in their life. the signs are there, family know and everything. But some people, it's staged. And in 2024, I just don't understand why there's not a unit that is dedicated to stage unalive. The stage unalive department, the stage, suicide department, because you just want to commit a murder and get away scot-free. That's all that is. So then she makes a 911 call. She didn't even know where she was. So let's make it make sense. So you go to a park. I walk all the time. I'm driving there. I know where I'm driving. Even if you don't know where you're going, you have to put in the GPS. How do you put in the GPS? You have to type park. You have to put in the address. Like, how the hell do you get where you're going if you don't know where you're going? Like, that makes no sense. So that means someone gave her coordinates. She had to go there. Okay, so it's like this. If you don't do this, obviously she loved her kids. If you don't do this, I'm going to hurt the kids. If you don't do this, whatever, I'm going to hurt your parents, whatever. It seems like her hands was tied and she had to do this. I hate to say it, but some women are really, really strong, and some people are very, very sensitive, and they'll do whatever they need to do. They just kind of wave the white flag. They kind of give up. I feel like he had put her through so much. Oh my God. This was like the last. She was just like, whatever I need to do, let's do it. So I feel like he said, number one, I need you to go to a pawn shop and get this gun. If you make a sound, leave a note, whatever, they gone. It's something that he's dangling over her. Because there's no way you're finna make me get a gun that's gonna end my life. Like, are you stupid? Number two, I need you to go to these coordinates. Because why else on her 911 call would she not know where she is? I need my family to know where I am. Oh, you at, you drove there, you walked there, whatever. It's just not making sense. And then I'm gonna let y'all hear a clip where at the end, it sounds like, she's screaming help and somebody's counting or whatever. So you'll get to hear it. But whatever gift I have, my intuition, she did not kill herself. At the end of the day, man fails us a lot. The judicial system fails us a lot. I'm African American, and we still don't have reparations for the calamity that was caused for my ancestors that built the wealth of this very nation. So we are quick to send money overseas to fund a war that we quote unquote are not in. But anytime we present reparations on the table, it gets shut down. This land belongs to Native Americans and African American descendants. They should not want for nothing. They should not have any money issues at all. For us to be, I'm a real to y'all. So for us to be last for home ownership and mortgage approval, it makes absolutely no sense, y'all. No sense at all. So I do not hold the judicial system in a very high light, because how can you in one breath make rules, punish those who don't obey the rules, and have like this high regard that you are so under God and you're such a leader when your hands are filthy? You stole land. There was genocide. You robbed, raped the whole transatlantic slave. I just don't look at them in high regard. And although Christians will teach you, God forgives, he died for all our sins, I don't believe that that's true. I've come to the realization that that's just not how God works. And I think there's more than one God. So maybe the one they're talking about, but not God of all gods. Because the sun rises every day. It doesn't stop. No matter what we do, it does what God told it to do. Same thing with the moon, same thing with stars, same thing with the plants. Same thing with animals. Everything does what it was commanded to do except for us. Right? We're the only rebels in the group. So that just means that God's rules are set. They're unbendable, unchangeable. So I feel like man went in there and said, okay, well, I sit down my son, he's going to die for your sins, just to make them feel comfortable. Because how could you live a life knowing that your ancestors did this? It's in your blood. And that sin comes down generations to generations to generations. Now, I do have white in me, but we all know with African Americans that were raped, the slave master, would have his house, what they call them, winches, and could sleep with them whenever he wanted, and then the babies were born, and then the wife will be mad and upset and be nasty to her and her kids. Anyway, and I do know there's a little bit that fell in love here and there. But I don't think my generation was one of the ones that fell in love. So there's white in me based on rape or sin, if you will. So anyways, Lord have mercy on sometimes judges, they render this, that, the other, and it's not really justice. So I'm just glad that's not my job. I feel like at the end of the day, you still have to be judged by God. Ain't that something? So you commit a crime, right? The judge give you your time. They say you got life. So you end up doing life and you die. You still got to meet God and be tried. Do people not understand this? Do people not get it? So no matter what happens here on earth, that I wouldn't even be worried about what they do to you on earth. Electric, injection, electrocute, hung. Maybe that's why our ancestors willingly were hung, because they knew there's nothing you could do worse to me than God can do to you. Okay? So maybe that's why they held their head high, being lynched, because the God I serve. Oh, you thought you was doing something bad to me? Okay, wait till my father, my mother, God creator, handles your ass. So even though he got away, seems like he got away scot-free with saying that this lady unalived herself, justice is still gonna be served. And what makes it so wretched to me is this is a pastor. You can preach on sin in a church, you know what I mean, lead worship. Matter of fact, when he got with her, he was already married, so we already know you're not the best pastor, right? They should have stripped Reverend from you right there. You can't even control your loins. And it seems like the more I researched, that was his problem. Like, he would hire prostitutes and something about dogs. Like, y'all, women, please be careful. It's this thing going around, like, what would you choose to be stranded in a forest with, a man or a bear? It's a bear for me. Two of the most amazing men in my life are my father and my brother. I haven't really met too many others, and I feel like every man is a beast. Beauty and the Beast was telling us men have two sides, ladies and gentlemen. He's a beast and he's a man. He has to tame that beast every day. And women can do it too, but I just feel like men are a different species. My favorite part in the Bible is in the beginning, Genesis. I think it talks about 4 or 5 gods. You'll hear Lord God, God, the God, Lords. It's just too many variations for it to be talking about the same thing, right? And it said the sons of God looked at the daughters of Lord God. That's 2 different gods. Argue with your own self in the Bible. The sons of God looked down on the daughters of Lord God and saw that they were beautiful and made them wives. You don't make nobody your wife. You date her, you court her, you give her gifts, she falls in love, and she can decide to be your wife. So to me, that was the beginning of sex slave. That was the beginning of slavery, sex trade. And now that I think about it, slavery was nothing but sex trade. They had the African American men breeding with the women. They were raping both parts. And I just think it was about sex. Oh, and when we're not raping you, go in the field and pick some cotton. It's like slavery never ended. I just think they gave it a new name, the slave trade, when it was always the sex trade, trafficking, if you will. So, yeah, that rabbit hole goes deep. But I found Reddit. I got all the social medias now, even Twitch, y'all. Reddit got the tea. So this, if you go to Reddit and type in justice for Mica Miller, oh my God, she gave so many details. I'm going to just read the headline. And y'all can dig into a little deeper if you want, because it's pages upon pages. I mean, there are real legit investigators out here. They probably got regular jobs. They probably need to switch careers and save some lives, because they're really good at what they do. So, Myrtle Beach pastor announces his wife's death after a sermon. He says suicide, but the locals are finding evidence that suggests otherwise. She says, start here. Even though this case is new, there is so much information coming out. I will try my best to keep things on topic and not confusing. I urge you to read until the end. It's going to end up being a huge case. There are a couple of deaths involved, but we are here mostly and most recently for Mica Miller. So the victim is Mica Miller. Her husband was John Paul J.P. Miller. And the father of J.P. is Wayne Miller. When Mica was 14 years old, disgusting, y'all, she lived in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and started attending youth group at Solid Rock Church. It was there that 28-year-old JP started grooming her while he was married to his wife, who he shares 5 children with. Now, I heard she was the babysitter and they had an affair. So from 14 to whenever they got divorced because he was cheating, like, who knows? Did he start sleeping with her at 14? We'll never know. And two things could be true. Either she committed suicide because she would have to tell this truth. Like, yeah, I was with him. Because a lot of wrong could be wrong for her too. You knew this man was married. Here you are, 14 years old. You're supposed to be the babysitter and you having an affair. That doesn't mean you're as malicious as him. We do know that guys can groom. You could be young. The brain doesn't even immature till 25. So I wouldn't even put it. Yes, she knew it was wrong, but because her brain doesn't mature until 25, I would give her so many passes. Him as the adult, I would label as wrong. But so she could have just been so fed up, and maybe all the truth was going to unravel and come true that she unalived herself. That could be true. But my gut is saying if she was bold enough to divorce him, she was ready to stand on her truth. She probably was about to write a tell-all book and expose him. And he was like, no, before I let you do that, I'm finna kill you just like I killed the lady I had an affair with husband. I mean, this is just me. And always trust your intuition, your gut. Because if you know something that you don't know, it's a gift. So let me keep going. So he started grooming her while he was married to his wife, who he shares 5 children with. His charges when he was married to her were, number 1, there's 10, y'all. Knowingly damaged property twice, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of liquor by a minor twice, possession of consumed liquor by a minor, possession of cannabis, 2.5 grams, the same night as the minor. Who are all these minors? So that leads me to believe she's 14 babysitting. Yeah, he's screwing her. Because minor, he's always around minors. And how was a wife married to him for so long? How did she have... Well, unless she had her babies year, I'm pretty sure with some gaps in between them kids. How are you married to this man for so long with his record? The first time I see damaged property, okay, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, you probably want to leave because that could be your life. But liquor with a minor, like, there's no way you could explain that. Like, goodbye. Contributing to the delinquency of a child, domestic battery, bodily harm, domestic battery, physical contact, assault battery of high aggravated nature twice, being on the premises after being warned to refuse and leave. These 10 things, I'm sure there's more. There's no way I would let this man leave out of an interrogation room and this lady is dead. He knows sheriff, police. He owns all these churches and have all these properties. He done cut pretty hefty checks, y'all. You can literally commit a crime and go free. Like when you have an attorney, they can know what you did. And, their job is to prove to the jury that you didn't do it. And the other, side is to prove that you did. So let's not pretend like people don't commit murder every day, go to trial and still get to go home. Like the attorneys know more so. I don't even know how they sleep at night. You know what your client did and you got them off. And again, see what I mean? You still have to meet God one day. You know what I mean? So the law said that you were doing your job, but God is going to render you guilty. Like, what is the point? Let me keep going. The two got married when Mica was 23. So from 14 to 23, that's definitely groom. The two got married when Mica was 23 and JP was 37. Okay, so from 28 to 37. So he had his eye on her, y'all. See how these predators are? And they will watch and wait. JP is the owner of the church Solid Rock, and from local reviews ran off a lot of people. He had misogynistic views. He would verbally attack people, and everyone feared for Mica. So again, like, nobody's reporting him. Like, all this fear. Why? You will only fear somebody if you know they can do some damage. If you know they can unalive. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, you don't really fear. He verbally, financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, and sexually assaulted her throughout their marriage. Ladies, please leave. It's not that serious. If she wanted to leave, he would have her committed to a mental hospital. So I did see that he committed her a lot. So ladies, especially if you're married, like, all they have to do is say you're crazy and you're gone. Like, that is sad too. Like, she's crazy and you're gone. And then they're the ones, and nobody's believing you because of this crazy title. He openly talked about her struggles during his sermons, as did she. JP failed to mention he was the reason for her mental struggles. All right. She probably was guilty the whole time, knowing that she ended that lady's marriage. You know what I mean? She had an affair with this man and ended up marrying him. That's a lot. He would emotionally torture her, make her watch him have sex with other women in front of her. It's giving P. Diddy, y'all. It's giving P. Diddy. Slash her tires, stalk her. I hope there's police reports for all of this and they let that man go. Stalk her, put tracking devices on her car, which leads me to believe that's what he did. I'm going to let y'all hear a clip of her saying that. First thing this lady said was, I'm alive. Like, why would you say that? I'm alive. Why wouldn't you be? That mean I got away. I barely got away and I'm alive, y'all. Here I am. And of course, if he got tracking devices, he knew where she was. She was even sleeping couch to couch, terrified of him finding her and committing her again. From another friend, Mica escaped JP in February 2024. Friends were hiding Mica. She found out he was doing things with the money from the church. So that's the big secret to me. What was he doing with money from the church? Now, I know they were supposed to be doing missionary. Y'all know they say a lot of sex trafficking goes on with that missionary. Miss Mica Miller, you died because you knew something, honey. You knew something. I don't know if you was going to write a book. I don't know if you was going to get on YouTube and spill it. He probably had some other people that he needed to protect, including himself. And they all wanted you out, honey. I hope they find a book. I hope she wrote everything out. She found out he was doing things with the money from the church. And after that, he put her in mental hospitals again. So is she mental or is she sane? So what does me figuring out that you're doing something with the money, how does that have me in a mental hospital? You know, that should have your ass behind bars. So when she got out, she told her friend, I'm not mentally ill and I'm not sick. I don't want to harm myself and he is going to make it look like I killed myself. So that should be in writing. Is that not what happened, y'all? I'm not mentally ill. I'm not sick. I don't want to harm myself. And he's going to make it look like I killed myself. He had already told her. He already had put a target on her head. She knew she was about to die. He's going to try to frame me. One day I know he's going to do it. That is so sad. To have thoughts like that somebody's going to do that, that's so sad. The church is not listed with the Southern Baptist Convention, nor is it listed as a nonprofit. So that's suspicious because churches are 503Cs. This could have been what Mica found out. He was committing tax fraud and had been for years. This last month, she started reconnecting with friends that JP had forced her to isolate from. One message from Mica to a friend on April 5th reads, "Thank you for your gentle warnings throughout the years regarding my relationship with JP. I know that you knew I wasn't ready to get out. But looking back, your warnings were very helpful when trying to make tough life decisions. Definitely have replayed our combo in my head over and over throughout the years and wish there was something I could do to get out." This is a red flag, y'all. I wish there was something I could do to get out. Who says that? Just get out. Get out. And now I've done it. To give you an example of what this guy is like when he preaches, in February 2024, here's part of the sermon that he read out loud to his churchgoers. You know, a year ago, my wife, they went to Africa. They had a wonderful trip, and she came back with the idea to start a school in Africa. And 6 weeks ago, she goes to the hospital, gets out, and just leaves me, completely leaves me, drain my bank account. And I go, guess what? While you're talking bad about me, I'm building a school in Africa for over 100 kids in order for them to be fed. Goes on about God. Then one day I'm going to preach to God about getting rich, strong, healthy, and finding a hot wife that loves Jesus. Who talks like that? What preacher talks like that? That's what I'm going to do. Then he continues to bash Mica, saying, well, my wife was in the hospital. You know, I looked at her phone and I counted over the past 2 years, 18 people who had texted her and said, if you ever want to talk to someone about your husband, you can talk to me and say anything and I'll keep it confidential. This made him visibly angry while on stage. So, you know, that scares me because if I'm in a congregation and I know that he read that message, he's basically calling me out. I saw the messages between you and her. And it ain't confidential because I read it. Ladies, keep your code to yourself. Keep your code to yourself. I don't care if she was in a mental hospital. How did he get in her phone? I don't like that. So he can stage whatever he need to stage in her phone, plant whatever he need to plant in her phone, erase whatever he need to erase. Like, if my wife is in a mental hospital ill, the last thing on my mind is looking through her phone. Like, what? Anyways, Mica filed for divorce and a protective order 48 hours before she was found dead. That is so odd to me. You know, this is the number one reason why I hate the government. The main... When anybody file divorce or protective or, get full custody of the kid, something happens. Like, something needs to... Maybe they need to have a police in front of their house. You know, this person just asked for protection. Nobody's watching them. No one's guarding them, making sure he's not going to be there. So we just said in thin air, don't go to her house. Don't go near her. And then when you do, I got to call and wait for your ass to come and save me. That's just the dumbest rule, the dumbest law. I hope and pray to God she got that gun because, I filed protective order, but his ass always tracking me and finding me or whatever I need to protect myself. That's probably why she bought the gun. But anyways, Mica filed for divorce and protective order 48 hours before she was found dead. That was crazy. The crime. In her final week, she made plans to get her hair cut, get help with her car payment because she was a little short after paying the divorce lawyers, and planned on meeting her friends at a church service Sunday, April 28th. Y'all, that is so sad. On Saturday, April 27th, Mica left in her work uniform to work at J. Peter's, a local restaurant. She never showed. So what if she doesn't have money for her car payment? She ain't missing work, y'all. She never showed. Her body was discovered an hour and a half away. Why would she even drive an hour away, y'all? Does that even make sense? So let's look at this. She needed to get help with her car payment, which means she should be working overtime, clocking in, right? Because she was short because she had to pay her divorce lawyers. I just don't see somebody like her missing work. Her body was discovered an hour and a half away. Like, who does that? If I'm going an hour and a half away, or 2 hours from here would be Orlando or Tallahassee. And it should be something going on in both of those places for me to make that drive. And that's just not what a normal person does in their day. It's just so weird. So it says an hour and a half away in Lumber, North Carolina. And when y'all hear the call, she didn't even know where she was. Her cause of death is a gunshot wound to the head. JP was not allowing her family to see her and was pushing for a quick cremation. So that's weird. My uncle died and his funeral was similar. Like, why can't nobody see the body? Why isn't there an autopsy? I don't know. The whole thing was just weird. I don't know. When you quickly try to cover up stuff, it's not a good look. Not allowing her family to see her and was pushing for a quick cremation that was denied, and the family has seen her. Hours later, her husband holds church services as normal. So let's look at that. My wife just committed suicide. Churches are done. You know what I mean? Not just Sunday, but is it going to close down? Like, that's a lot. He need to be on a sabbatical. He need to be in therapy. He should be, ruined, remorseful, everything. Hours later, her husband holds church because it's about money. He holds church service as normal on Sunday, April 29. He has no remorse, no emotion. He even cracks jokes during his sermon. And the last 30 seconds of it, he says, and I'm paraphrasing, but listen to it as I go. I have an announcement, and I ask that after it, you leave the church and do not talk about my announcement. I hope you continue to come to church and serve and give. Why would you say and give? I hope you continue to come to church, serve, and give. You know that for the next little bit, I'm talking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break might be a few days, a few weeks, I don't know. I got a call late last night that my wife has passed away, and it was self-induced. This is what gets me. It said his wife died late, But somebody that I'm going to let you guys listen to said that he knew she was dead before they even told him. So that's odd. I'm taking a little break for a while. I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And yeah, it was a self-inflicted. And it was up in North Carolina. So he's so smart. It was suicide, meaning I didn't do it, she did. And it wasn't even here. It was way in North Carolina. So in other words, probably trying to insinuate, like, who was she going to go see? What was she up to? It wasn't even around me. See, she was safe when she was around me. Like, oh my God, this has bastard written all over it. And God is not pleased. The Bible does tell us there are wolf in sheep clothing, and they get away with murder daily. It is so sad. But don't worry. God has a final judgment and the final say. You just keep your hands clean. But this really struck a nerve. Let me continue. We'll have funeral for her next Sunday here at 3. And yeah, I'm just, going on a journey right now. She wasn't well mentally, and she needed her medicine that was hard to get. Even if you're getting a divorce and this girl is mental, wouldn't you pay for her medicine and make sure she's okay? The greatest love is saying, I love you so much, let's do this divorce. You don't want to be with me? I love you so much, go and find whatever makes you happy. I love you so much, here's money for your car payment. I love you so much, I'll file. Here's the money for the divorce. I love you so much, I don't know. This is just weird. There is a video of this despite JP deleting it from their church YouTube. Why he deleted it, y'all, I don't know. That was even weird. Let me go back. I had lost my place. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. I'm finding it. Okay. 3 days later, her husband is seen and photographed at Coastal Grand Mall going into a sushi restaurant with his supposed girlfriend. So you wasn't even officially divorced, y'all. She had just filed for divorce and you already with somebody else. He cannot control his wing, y'all. She is looking at the camera with her eyebrows raised and her hand over her mouth. On May 1st, she probably knows something too. On May 1st, JP informed a news outlet that he could not do their scheduled interview as he was leaving town for a few days. Why? Because he got to get his story together? Why? May 3rd, the church has permanently closed. Why? But didn't he give a message, say continue to come to church, continue to tithe? Why is it closed? Because that FBI on that ass. So Susie Skinner's husband, mysterious death. So the girl from the most recent photos, it was a common knowledge that JP and Susie had been dating for years. She just filed for divorce, y'all. How was he dating? How was he the pastor of a church, married and dating? They're having sharing food and blankets at soccer games, and they had been seen at the water park. In 2021, Susie's then husband, who was paralyzed and lived his life in a wheelchair, drowned in a pool, and it was suicide. This man is good with a suicide, y'all. And it was suicide. How does a person in a wheelchair drowning in a pool suicide? If anything, that should have been accidental, but they show heavy with the suicide, aren't they? You read that, and then the girl said, yes, you read that right, suicide. Wayne Miller, and another mysterious death, living in Myrtle Beach as well, arrested for hooking up with a minor in a shower, molestation charges, and then had the charges expunged. So for all my males that have a hard time finding jobs, see how they do? They get it expunged. It can be done. This was in the 90s. He forced J-1 visa students who paid to trail to the U.S. to attend his Bible college. Ain't that sick? Failure to pay them even minimum wage, failure to provide them with adequate shelter, food, and more. He had federal charges from ICE for abusing the immigrant students while with him. He was exposed for lewd acts in Pakistan a few years back. He was living in a private society at the time called Eden Garden, which was full of younger boys. Remember, he has a history of molestation. Jerry Savelle. Now, this is so interesting to me. I love Miss Terry Savelle. And her father had mysteriously died. And so now I see this last name and I want to dig into that. Jerry Savelle, who started a church in Pakistan that Wayne was associated with, passed away April 14, 2024 with no clear cause of death. Just bodies everywhere, y'all. In a video, you could see them talk about how Dr. Jerry Savelle didn't know all the illegal things Wayne was doing and didn't realize Savelle, was contributing to it. Also, in Pakistan, he had a plan to make false accusations in Pakistan court system because he was about to get exposed for his homosexual relationship and all the sexual abuse he was committing there. The allegations, we don't know what they were proven to be false by Pakistan court this past October. He paid somebody. He paid somebody, man. He then had his male lover come to America. I thought it was false. He had his male lover come to America with his Pakistan sister, and Troy Wayne's father was the sponsor to marry the sister so they could come here. So you mean to tell me you married this man's sister as a fake marriage to be with your gay lover? This is a lot, y'all. An article about Troy from 2023 reads, a former Myrtle Beach area pastor is facing charges of child molestation. 32-year-old Robert Troy Taylor turned himself into Greentown County authorities Saturday. He's the former pastor at the Low Country Community Church in Murrells Inlet, just south of Myrtle Beach. The charges are reportedly connected to 2 incidents with 12-year-old boys from more than a decade ago. This is sick, y'all. The company you keep. Now, I don't care about anybody being gay or doing what you want to do in the bedroom, but leave these kids alone. That is a mental illness. That is a sickness. And that proves that at your grown age, you can't pull nobody. And that is sad. And instead of pleasing yourself until you find somebody, you prey on kids whose mind don't develop until they're 25. It's insane. So anyways, JP's older son, he has a history of domestic abuse against his wife. Served time for hitting her over the head with a glass bottle. 2024 runs in the family, y'all. Search the hashtag Justice for Mica on Facebook, and you can see videos, pictures, text messages, etc. Please ignore the obituary this abuser wrote. It is so disgusting. It paints himself in an amazing light. This is only the beginning. Her death was called a suicide, but Robeson County is investigating it. And all of this information has been sent to our local police department as well as Robeson County. A protest is being held on the public property outside of the church and walk around a few blocks on Sunday at 9 a.m. Even though the news came out today, they are closed. This is from Mica. One of her last videos that she uploaded to her Facebook was her speaking out about her abuse, and she was looking so empty inside. Sorry if this is confusing, but the police have barely released any information except for the basics. But the rest were from old articles, people's stories about her. I tried to piece it all together the best I could to show this entire family is about to go down, as they should have a long time ago. This has been edited to add JP Miller announced the cause of death before the police did, as if more suspicion from him was needed. So her name, I guess Reddit gives you weird names, but if you just type in Justice for Mica, the whole thing will come up. And let me let you hear her Facebook video.
Hey everybody, I just want to let you know that I'm alive and well, and life's been kind of crazy the couple past weeks, months, years, but I've kind of had to keep my circle really small for the past couple weeks, just because I'm going through a lot and it's hard and it's my cross to bear. It's the thing that God has put in my life to deal with, and I don't want to bring a lot of people into it. I'm so thankful to God for a strong family and the friends that God has put in my life to be there for me at this time. I just wanted to share that my heart and my prayer is that the church would stay strong, that y'all would stick together, because the church is God's people. It's not a man, it's not a person, it's not me, it's God's people, the bride of Christ. And there's a lot of really good people in the church that that I just hope would continue on, press toward the calling, run your race, stay encouraged, stay in your word, keep worshiping. Like, I can't wait to worship again with everybody. But for now, I'm just worshiping with me and Jesus to God. And I don't think God would be pleased with me if I just jumped right into missions and women's events and creative directing and worship leading and stuff. I think when your world is shook up, you need to take a pause. And I can only pray that more people will take a pause and I'm trying to get my priorities straight right now. And that's making sure that my heart doesn't have any unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, just forgiveness and hope for the future and peace. Because you can't put a price on peace from God. So, thank you for all your prayers and support. Know that I have to keep my circle really, really small right now. I'm used to having a really big circle, so it's hard because I want to reach out to everybody and tell you how much I love you and I miss you. And this is the best way that I know how. So, I love you all. I miss you. Thank you for your love and support over the last couple years. And some of you, up to 18 years walking with me as my friends. And for right now, I've just had to put everything on pause to get myself right. And I think God's happy with that. So keep praying for me. Thank you. And I love you. I'll be praying for you. God bless you. Bye.
All right. So the fact that she starts her YouTube message off with "I'm alive" is so many flags. Like, imagine me calling you, "Hey girl, I'm alive. Rewind, back up. What's going on?" You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you be alive? What's going on? Like, filling all the gaps. That's not a normal greeting. "Hey y'all, I'm alive." And for people to suspect that something happened to her, that she's not alive, that's more flags. I just wish she would have went into more detail. Or I honestly feel like because she did that video, her husband probably was like, "Oh, she gonna keep doing these videos. Okay, we gotta get rid of her." You know what I mean? She should have just did it all right then. Uploaded it, and it would have been nothing he could have done. It would have been out there forevermore. Because even when people delete stuff, somebody been on screen recorded or saved it. So once it's here, it's here. And the government will have you to believe that you can delete stuff. No, it is forever here. And what they don't be showing y'all on them crying TVs, they be going through them social medias. They be going through them deleted messages. There's a cloud. There's a government cloud somewhere. They got the information. So I just be wanting them to solve these cases a lot faster. Because they know. I know they know. These phones record all the time. They take pictures all the time. They can hear all the time. Same thing with these TVs. Light bulbs do it now. You can Google your Wi-Fi router. It can see. It sends out beams of the area. And it makes a picture of that environment. So it's not like a picture, but the point is, it can give an image. So there's technology all around us. There's cameras on the back of your car when you back up. Everybody got Ring cameras. I don't think they be showing us what all they do know and can see. But here, I'm gonna wrap this case, solve this case, because it's given she did not unalive herself.
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
A national park.
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
In Bear Bluff.
Let's see.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on. I just did my location.
Okay, I'm showing, Hold on one second. I don't think you are in Robeson County. Are you at the Lumber River State Park?
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
Now, I don't know about you guys, because one of the things that I do want to do is get training for the suicide hotline and volunteer with that for a bit. It's this company here in Jacksonville, Florida called Here Tomorrow. It is a free organization that helps with suicide. And I went to one of her seminars to kind of see the signs of suicide. And she said the number one reason for suicide is problems. She was like, people just don't have the solutions to their problems. They lose their job. They don't know, where they're going to get money from, how they're going to eat, how they're going to take care of kids, Or, they drop out of school. She just say all these different things. It's just they don't have answers to their problem. And so they end their life. And I've even heard like one person say, if somebody smiles at me, I won't end my life. If just one person smiles at me today, I won't end my life. So just simple stuff. Like, life is hard as heck. And people just need love and help and assistance. And for all this money to be floating around, I just don't understand. It's a lot that God isn't pleased with. But I know justice will be served one day. But on this call, she was just way too calm. The fact that she didn't know where she was so suspicious, because I love to walk. I love to walk somewhere, but I know even if I don't know where I'm going, I'm typing in my phone park and I drive to the park. So with me typing in park, it tells me the name of the park. It tells me how far away it is. And if something happens, I can say I'm at so-and-so park because I just looked it up. So it's just not making sense to me. Again, I feel like he told her where to go, probably gave her coordinates. And probably told her what to do. And if you don't do this, X, Y, Z. So whatever he had over her head, my God, he had something over her head. And let's be honest. In the year 2024, you can hire a hitman. It's so sad. You can hire a hitman and people are getting caught. Like they're literally going on Google and hiring hitmen and paying online. Like, you really think nobody not tracking that and getting caught and busted and then sitting in an interrogation room looking stupid? Like, really? Only if you like Carol Baskins. She had that tiger eat that man. You can get away with it, but you got to be real smart. That tiger devoured that man. He will never be found. Her hands are clean. Her hands are clean. Ain't nobody finna go disturb that tiger. And him, he set it up. Footage of her buying a gun. All the times he done put her in a mental play. He built that case. Told her to go to this forest and if you don't do it, I'll do it. But what's so interesting is this lady pulled up that recording and she heard something at the end, and I want you to hear this.
All right, so this could be something, it could be nothing, but I wanted to share this with you. I'm not a PI, I'm not working for the family, I'm not working for anybody on the case. I was just really unsettled by this whole 911 call. So I put the 911 call into a program.
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
And it's just the basic call.
Sorry, are you able to trace the...
And what I did was at the very end of the call, which is back here, I notice there's a space that it doesn't really have any sound on the original. I can cut, but I could kind of hear something. So I decided to really focus at the very end. So after the 911 operator says this,
where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
There's silence. Now, my theory is Mica Miller at that point put the phone down, gave it back to them, or said, here, I did what you told me to do. And they thought that the phone had hung up, but it captured a few seconds. And so there's talking from a gentleman. And I swear it almost sounds like they say something, and then almost like it says, like, grab her arm, get set, like they're going to do it. And when they would say go, the call ended. So I just want to see what you think. And all I did was enhance it. I denoised it. I vocal separated it so we could hear it, a little bit. And then it starts over again. So what I hear on that is like, get up, hun, or something like that. Or turn around, grab her arm, and then she says, help. And then he says, get set. And then, or he says, on your mark, get set. So we'll listen to it again. So it says almost like, get up, hun, or Mica. Turn, wait. Grab her arm, help. Get set. And then the 911 call technically ended. So that's definitely not the 911 operator, because they wouldn't say grab her arm or your mark, get set, go. That, I truly believe, is what may solve the big question of whether or not she was alone. Because that's somebody saying something like, get up, turn around, hold her hand or hold her arm, get set, boom.
So yeah, I don't think she killed herself. I don't think she unalived herself. This was not suicide. That was definitely him. He hired some people. I mean, his profile just screams criminal. You're married and you're having an affair. You're married and you're with underage people. All this battery, all this abuse. The church is supposed to be a nonprofit and it's not. Like, what more? Dead body on top of dead body on top of dead body. Suicide on top of suicide. Like, it screamed. The profile screamed. Now, I know we're not supposed to be racial profiling, right? But sometimes your background is your background, okay? And I don't know. I don't know. Oh, another thing that I didn't put in here. I read it and read it. He had some type of badge that he would show, and he wouldn't get tickets and different stuff like that. So I don't know if that's giving Illuminati, the Brotherhood, or whatever. But I do know there's certain organizations where they do look out with each other. Is it KKK? I mean, I don't know. But I know there are certain organizations where they do look out for each other. Now, what I have to ask myself is, for this particular organization to get me out of jail, to help me bury bodies and different stuff like that, what do I have to do with this organization? Is it all money? Is it I scratch your back, you scratch my back? Is that why it's hard for us to bring them down? Because if you tell on me, I'm telling on you, and and it's like a domino effect. Like, it makes you think. So just keep your hands clean, because at the end of the day, we still have to talk to God. And no matter what punishment you got on earth, it's going to be so much worse. So I just think I don't know. If God created us all, he hears all of our cries. He sees what all of us do. And there's no way that you can get away with it. Like, let's think about the Bible at the beginning. Cain and Abel. You killed your brother, and he asked as if he didn't know, where is your brother? I don't know. What do you mean, what do you don't know? His blood is crying out to me. I made him. I know exactly what happened. I'm testing you, and you failed. I just wanted to see if you was going to lie, and you did. That's the same thing they do today. The Lord is asking him, where is your wife? Where is your wife that just filed for divorce and protective services so that you can't come close to her and she's all of a sudden dead? That need to be a sermon that he get up there and preach. I don't know. You have to be a bold devil to do all this sin and then stand before men like you innocent, and the Lord said, and do this and do that, and you got 14-year-olds that you sleeping with, and the Lord said do this, and you hiring strippers, and the Lord said do this, and you sleeping with dogs, and the Lord said do this, and you don't unalive that girl husband, and the Lord said do this, do that, and you, I don't know, it's just he need to be in a mental institution. Because a pastor is supposed to be blemished and without fame. Like in the Bible, if y'all go look at the pastors and priests, they did not play. They couldn't get married. They committed themselves to God. They were kind of like nuns and Buddhists. They did not play. They reverenced God to the T. And what we have today is just so washed down. Okay, so you a pastor. The Lord said, judge ye by its fruit. And his tree does not have fruit on it. Just crime, crime, crime. And that makes me question these people. Why are you going to this church? What does that say about you? Birds that flock together. Hello. Are y'all one and the same? Is that a criminal's church? Like, I don't get it. There's no way I'm going to hear a rumor about you beating up somebody or you being 14 years old, you having an affair with the babysitter, and I'm still coming to this church. Like, make it make sense. And because no one, so I blame everybody, his parents, sisters, brothers, the church, because if somebody would have stood up to him man to man and said, you wrong, you need to get your life together, you need to XYZ, you need to step down, none of this would have happened. But since no one corrected him like a spoiled brat, he just continued to grow in sin. The Bible tells us that. Go in private with your brother and help him. Nobody's perfect. So you can, in private, you don't have to embarrass them and blast them out, but pull them to the side. It's not a good look. You know, I don't think you should be a pastor and you up here. It's okay. One thing about earth, I feel like this is hell. I'll tell you why. It's full of all, more than just the deadly sins. Any temptation you can think of is here. It's like the devil's playground. It's like the devil's playground, y'all. And I feel like my favorite book in the Bible is Job, where God is like, look at Job, my faithful servant. You know, I love him so much. He loves me. He'll never do any wrong. And the devil got jealous. Like, you give him everything. Let me take everything away. And I bet he cursed you and die. And God was like, okay, I'll let you touch everything. Just don't touch his life. So that tells me two things. God is proud of us for us loving him and adoring him. And two, the devil could take our life unless God says don't. So that's interesting, right? But I think the roles have been reversed. I think now it's like the devil is like, God, I got all your kids down here. You know, they in the casino full of sin. Every sin you could think of. I bet they indulge in these sins. And God is like, okay. You know, well, let's see who can avoid the temptations. I think it's just in reverse now. I think we are all the story of Job in reverse. Instead of God saying, looking at my da-da-da-da-da, I'm so pleased, the devil's like, oh, look, all your kids is in my playground. You know, they're going to indulge in all these sins. I bet none of them make it home, you know, without a blemish or whatever. And that's why the prodigal son was such a good story, because it's like, even though he went away and did his dirt, he came back home and God was so happy. The son that was there was jealous. But the father had to correct him like, you've been here the whole time. Soaking in all these riches and just living it up. You know, be happy that your brother came back home. Okay? So, I don't know. Y'all, I just feel so sad because we look up to celebrities. We look up to these so-called leaders. We look up to pastors and governments and presidents and officials. But we're supposed to be looking to God, looking in the Word, and looking in ourselves. Because all of those outward things, just like social media, they're fake. Thickety fake. Study the Word for yourself. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved. And I don't limit myself to Christianity. There's knowledge, religious-wise, in all religions. So I can learn something in Buddhist that's not going to be taught in Christian. I can learn something in Christian that's not going to be mentioned in atheism. I just love knowledge so much. I don't limit myself. But I do know love is the greatest in the world. And I do know that God loves us so much. We probably have infinite chances to get it right. And that's the beautiful, beautiful thing. But we also have choice, which means some of us aren't going to do the right thing. So we do live in this yin-yang world. And it's always going to be like that. But if you don't know tragedy, like this suicide case, you wouldn't know love. Like there's always going to be an opposite. So someone living for, the opposite, you know, him getting upset that she filed for divorce and want to leave, and he caused, you know, kills her and makes it look like suicide, is one end of the spectrum. And on the other end, someone loving their wife so much for so many years, and they're having another wedding and they're having their vows renewed. It's always going to be those opposites. And everything, hot, cold, up, down, left, right, it's always going to be employment, unemployed, rich, poor. There's always going to be an opposite. So my heart just goes out to her, because I don't think she unalived herself. Not at all.
On the day that you were out there fishing, did you have any type of cellular service out there?
No, sir. I fished that place right regularly. I understand, you know, I probably shouldn't have. I don't know why I did it, but I took those things straight to the law. I took nothing out of it. There was money in it and everything that was in it. I don't know what made me grab it. I don't even know what made me go in there, to be honest with you.
Now, the belongings that you did find, were they like in a baggie or a backpack or a purse or?
Yes, sir. I call it like a little fanny pack. It had 3 different compartments in it. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was probably, I'd say, it might have been 2 foot away from the bank whenever I found it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The glasses and her cell phone. I never looked at none of that. Like I said, I hadn't even realized what had even happened.
Right.
So I picked it up and I put it in my boat. Well, I did walk to my left a little bit, because I felt like something like that had happened. I walked to my left a little bit and looked, and there was an opening to the right, and I looked and I didn't see nothing. So I just picked the stuff up, stuck it in my boat, and got out of there, and went straight to the boat landing. And there was a bunch of people there at the boat landing, and well, let me go back. When I come out of the little lake, there's an observation deck up there. Have you seen it?
I have, yes, sir.
Okay, there was probably there was a family of people up there, and I had told them, I said, man, I just found some stuff in there. I don't know who it belongs to. And then they had told me that somebody had called 911. But anyway, I left from there. I went straight to the boat landing. I loaded my boat up, and there's a little wall on each side of the boat landing. I took the stuff out of my boat, laid it up on the wall. I loaded my boat up. That's when I looked into the little bag, and I noticed there was a little over $500 some dollars in there. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly what I done, sir. I was telling the people, I said, man, there's money in there and everything. And this is exactly what I did. I did leave out of there. My nose was all tore up. I'm a smoker. I didn't have a lighter. I ran to the store. I knew the laws was already there. I turned around. I went straight back to the place. I pulled up in the parking lot there where the picnic tables is at, the picnic shelter area is at.
Yes, sir.
And there was a truck there. And I pulled in behind it, not realizing it was a law. I rushed up behind him. He said, sir, would you mind backing up? I got to run this drone. I looked at the drone. I said, oh, Lord, that's a sheriff's drone. That's when I realized that he was a law. I didn't realize that he was a law because he was in his personal truck. He was a 24-hour call law. He was on call.
Right.
So I said,
so essentially, it was a Robertson County deputy. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, yes, sir.
Okay. So he didn't show you any credentials. He didn't have a badge on.
No, sir. Like I said, he hadn't had no statements that he'd been on call all night. No, sir. He didn't really show me nothing like that. Okay. He had the drone, and the drone, I noticed it had Robertson County Sheriff Department on it.
Sure.
That's when I realized, that he was a law.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with the drone, so I understand. Now, on that day...
Like I said, I pulled up behind him, and I said, sir, do you know a Mica Miller? He said, how do you know a Mica? He said, step out of your truck. Oh, sir, hold on a minute now. I said, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I told him what I just told you, my story. Well, I told my story about what had happened. And then my mind's blowed up on this thing. I told him my story and everything, told him what had happened, and he sort of came around and told me what was going on. And I said, man, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. He said, well, yeah, he said, that's what happened. I said, well, how do y'all know? How did y'all find out? He told me that she had called 911, that she was getting ready to commit suicide, that she wanted to call them and let them know so her parents won't be worried about, go ahead so they can find her quick.
So my question is, so Robeson County notified you pretty much, instantly that this was a suicide case.
After I told him my story, yeah.
Okay.
Not soon as I started talking to him, but after I told him my story and I talked with the park rangers and everything about trying to link him to where
I can barely hear you.
Am I breaking up?
I can hear you. No, I was saying I can barely hear you. I didn't know if you were walking away from the phone.
Okay.
So approximately how long would you say Robeson County spoke to you prior to you leaving?
I say I was there a good 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you said when you loaded up your boat, what type of boat was that you loaded up?
It's a little one-man boat.
Okay, is it like a kayak or?
Yes, it's something. It's like a little small canoe.
Okay.
It's something similar to that.
And do you have like a trolling motor or anything on there?
Yes, sir. I had a trolling motor on it.
Okay.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I was able to get up into that hole, because, as a matter of fact, that's what I've done. I was getting ready to leave out, and I turned around and looked. I said, there's an opening. I don't know what made me go in there neither after a gunshot. I reckon I was on adrenaline. I said, well, there's an opening there big enough I can go in there. And I turned around and I went in there. And what that was, where she was at, or whatever happened or whatever, that water that was in there is just high water, because the water was high that day.
Right.
That water into them woods, that's just high water that was in there. When the water is down real low, there wouldn't be no water in there.
Now, is there a path that leads to the water that you're describing?
Yes, sir. Hey, I told the park ranger. That's how I got the park rangers there.
Okay.
Where I found her belongings at, I looked straight up ahead, and there was a path just as clear as day coming in there.
Okay. All right.
Sir, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
The only, which I'm going to be sounding like an investigator, but I don't want to be like that. But the only thing that I've got in question about this whole thing is, now I just found out last week that JP had a lawyer or something that's got land down there. My only thing is, I know, when I travel up and down the river, I look on the side and I see some posted signs.
Right.
People's got land on the river.
Right.
Okay?
I'm aware of that. Yes, sir.
It tells you not to trespass.
Correct.
So I'm not going to do that no way. But if I'm not mistaken, I think they said that there was places around in that area that was prohibited to go into the river that way.
Right.
Speaking of somebody's got land on there, don't get on the land to go to it. My theory is, if that man's land is somewhere near right there, I feel like somebody might have come in off of that land.
Right.
As far as me hearing her arguing with somebody, as far as even knowing somebody was even there, I couldn't see nothing because the woods was so thick.
I understand that. I've walked through there, so I understand.
But let me put this in there, though, sir. I feel like, because when I got out there on the bank, and I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from, when I got out there on the bank where her stuff was at, I looked out into the lake, and I could see everything out there in the lake. And I really feel like whoever she did or whoever, I feel like they actually, because there was other people in the lake also, I feel like they seen us or seen me, to be honest with you.
And I guess that's where I'm getting at with my next few questions is, you said that you stopped and spoke with some individuals on a boat that were leaving out of that same area, correct?
No, they weren't leaving out of the area. They was coming into the area.
Okay, coming to the same area that you were already in?
So let me add this here. Before I came into the lake off of the river.
Yes, sir.
That's me coming down river, okay? I passed them in the river. So because they were fishing up river.
Okay.
Now, this was my first time hearing from the fisherman. And what's strange about him is how you gonna take stuff and bring it back? Like, that made no sense. If I was the police, I would be all over his ass, because what if it was somewhere else? What if that stuff were somewhere else we need to be? And what if she left clues and different stuff that he didn't? How do we know that he brought everything back? How do we know that he left everything back? And I know somebody saw him. I know there's other witnesses, but did they get, or did somebody spot them out and kill them? You know what I mean? Like, this just got weirdness all over. I feel like he was a hired hitman, or he got money somehow. Somebody told him to take that stuff and bring it back. It's just very weird. Or he was like homeless or poor, and because she had money in there, and wanted to take her stuff, like, because he needed it, and then found out, oh no, this is a big crime, let me go take this stuff back. It's just I just never heard of that anymore. Oh my God, I saw a car accident and it was stuff in the car, so I took it and I came back, here's the stuff. Like, just never in my life. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. I just feel like our judicial system fails us every single day. Y'all put the tracking stuff on y'all phone. Every time I walk, my mom knows exactly where I am. Matter of fact, she knows where I am all times. When I meet people in the real estate world, I research them. I know who they are, what kind of car they drive, where they live. I have all of their information. And guess what? It's stored in my phone. Hello. I'm about to get this gun. It's just like people have to know. And I feel like they got tracking devices in all of our cars at this point. I think there's a black box in every single car. Like, I did not want to take my car to the dealership. My mom was like, take it. It's a recall. They need to do it. I'm like, it wasn't no damn recall. They put some shit in my car. I am a X-Files girl. I don't have to be in the military. I don't have to be in CIA. I don't have to be in FBI. I don't have to be in classified to know some shit. You just know. Like, if you can't put nothing past a person, you definitely can't put nothing past the government, you know? And maybe this went as high to a government official. Maybe she found out he was in connections with somebody higher up, and they had to cover, oh, you definitely not finna take me down, so we got to clean this whole mess up. You get what I'm saying? So just listen to Mr. Fisherman.
This is why I don't believe in not telling your friends shit. And this is why abusers love to say, don't tell nobody this. Keep your friends out our business. This ain't our family business, and this your family business. And this is why they love to isolate you from your friends and family. So y'all see Mica, and I cannot think of the pastor name, but it's irrelevant as fuck. But he killed Mica. He killed his wife, and guess what? She left a trail of evidence, not breadcrumbs. Bitch, Mica left the whole loaf of bread. Y'all seen that show that say, I think it's I Solved My Own Murder, and it's just people leaving trails of breadcrumbs to solve their murder. Like, a lady was kidnapped. She was in this apartment, and she left like one of her business cards under the bed while she was kidnapped. She slid a business card under there to let it be known I was here. Or like even like a Fitbit tracking where somebody went, and it's showing they every single move to helping solve their murder, like shit like that. This would be a great, awesome episode. She has so many recordings of him admitting to abusing her. She told all her friends and family knew what was going on. She had like evidence of him having a child, a 4-year-old. I think it said a 4-year-old blow-up doll, like a blow-up doll that was like the age of a fucking child. Not he had the blow-up doll for 4 years, a little baby blow-up doll. What else that man have? He had they used to pick up prostitutes, and he used to make prostitutes finish with her. He was having relations with prostitutes himself, men and women. He used to get off to fucking dogs. Mica left a whole trail of evidence. She even said, if I'm found with a bullet shot to my head, it wasn't me, it was him. And that's how the fuck she died. And the first thing he did after she was found murdered was went into church and said she committed suicide. She had a bullet to her head. I'm like, y'all, stop letting these motherfuckers convince you. Keep people out of our business. That's our business. Stop letting them convince you that. And stop getting on here and seeing people say, I don't tell my friends nothing. My business is my business. If you are an oversharer, that's fine. That's fine. If your friends not crying and complaining about it, saying, damn, shut the fuck up. And if they are, you need new friends. But let people know what's going on. Stop keeping secrets. Do you gotta run and tell the whole world about it? No. You gotta make an announcement on Facebook. Yeah, this motherfucker just pushed my head through the washer and dryers. No. But let somebody know. First of all, I just say leave. And I could say that because I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And people like to be like, oh, you don't know until you're in it. When I was in it, bitch, when it started, I was gone. I'm not sitting there through that. So I can't say it. Leave. But you know what? If you're not going to leave, the least you could do is let people know. Let people know. And your girl is solving her own murder from beyond. I love that for her. I love that for her. I hope he get fucking bitch, this case just is really disgusting to me.
All right, and that was a message from a survivor herself. Now, I can't say that I am a domestic violence survivor myself, but it has been around my family. So I would like to call myself an external or a familiar victim of domestic violence, because when it happens to you, the people that you're close to, it affects them. So think of little kids. If you see dad hitting mom, you think that's not going to affect that kid? So, you know, they could be, you know, I don't know. So many things can happen when a child goes through that. It affects them, and then whatever fears or traumas they have, it's going to affect their kids. And who knows how many generations that's going to trickle down, but the point being is it affects more than just a victim. So I wish they would make a ribbon for that, because it doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody. Like, we are so connected, we don't realize it. So I just want to end with, when negative things happen, you can try to pull something positive out of them. And so hopefully this message could end up saving somebody's life. Hopefully this message could end up causing somebody to think and plan and get away. Hopefully this message could encourage someone to stop abusing if they are the abuser and turn their life around, because every second, every hour, every day you can change. You don't have to be the same. It's your actions that help you change. So we're going to start with some resources. These are some domestic violence resources. So first we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline. You can visit them at www.thehotline.org or 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 7233. We have RAIN, which is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. Their website is www.rainn.org, and their number is 1-800-656-HOPE. Again, 1-800-656-HOPE, and that is 4673. We have Love is Respect at www.loveisrespect.org. That number is 1-866-331-9474, or you can text Love Is to 22522. We also have Women's Law, and that website is www.womenslaw.org. They provide legal information and support for survivors of domestic violence. We have Safe Horizon. Their website is safehorizon.org, number 1-800-621-HOPE. Again, 1-800-621-HOPE, which is 4673. Then we have local shelters and support services in your local areas. They encourage listeners to search for local shelters and support services in their specific areas. So, affirmations for victims of abuse. I have 5 of them here. 1 is, I deserve to live a life free from fear and harm. 2, my safety and well-being are my top priorities. 3, I have the strength to seek help and make positive changes. 4, I am not alone. There are people and resources that can help me. 5, I am worthy of respect, love, and peace. We also have a safety plan. So best practices to get out, to get away, and to be safe. 1, you want to create a safety plan. Identify safe areas in your home to escape to if an argument occurs. Have a packed bag ready with essentials, identification, money, keys, medications, and important documents. Know the nearest shelter or safe place to go to in an emergency. Reach out for help. Contact trusted friends, family members, or neighbors and let them know about the situation. Use resources like hotlines and local shelters for immediate assistance. Number 3, document the abuse. Keep records of any incidents of abuse, including dates, times, and descriptions. If safe, take photos of injuries and save any threatening messages or voicemails. Number 4, legal protection. Seek legal advice on obtaining restraining orders or other legal protections. Know your rights and the laws in your area regarding domestic violence. Number 5, develop an escape route. Plan the safest way to leave the home and practice it if possible. Ensure your children know how to call 911 and they have a code word for when they need to get help. Stay connected. Keep in touch with supportive people regularly. Let them know if plans or circumstances change. Use technology wiser. Consider using a secondary phone or email account for confidential communications. Self-care. Take time for self-care to maintain physical and emotional health. Engage in activities that provide relaxation and relief from stress. Lastly, I leave you with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you seeking your protection and guidance for those affected by domestic violence. Grant them the courage to seek help and the wisdom to find safe paths away from harm. Surround them with your love and place supportive people in their lives who can offer aid and comfort. Heal their wounds, both seen and unseen, and restore their spirit with your grace. May they find peace, safety, and a future filled with hope. Amen. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Namaste, Lovaste, always vibe high, babe. Thanks a million for listening. I hope you have a better than great day. Love you. Talk to you later. Muahhh.